Colin Ward died in an overcrowded bay at Walsgrave Hospital in Coventry. The exact cause of his death has still not been fully explained, but 6 months later there were 2 more deaths in overcrowded bays. Staff claimed the bays were so cramped they couldn't get resuscitation equipment to the patients. They were so concerned they filled in red alert forms warning of the dangers.
There was no oxygen available for the patient. We could not have any suction to suck out the vomitus from the main airways. We could not give the patient the opportunity of defibrillation because the leads would not reach, and we could not access the patient through his major veins because the anaesthetist and the crash team could not get round the patient satisfactorily.
Dr Mattu's concerns were ignored for nearly 2 years, and we were told repeatedly that a red alert form about the second death couldn't be found. Now another consultant has come to us to say he also raised the alarm after witnessing a near miss. He organised a petition signed by 10 doctors.
It would not be an exaggeration to saying it was the most stressful and depressing time of my career, basically in 20 years, because you felt a sense of frustration that nothing was being done to change this, that this was an accepted practice, which it should not be.
Dr Nicol even wrote to this leading expert, Professor Sir George Alberti of the Royal College of Physicians. Professor Alberti offered to help, but the hospital's response was to deny there was a problem. Back at the Walsgrave, a leading surgeon, Chris Imrie, was still worried about patient safety, including 1 death. He submitted no less than 157 complaints about overcrowding. They were either ruled unhelpful or simply out of date.
I've never seen that practice in any hospital I've worked in. I've never seen it in any hospital I've worked in, either in Holland or in South Africa. That is not standard medical care, and it is not true to say that.
All the physicians, all the anaesthetists, and then the entire consultant group wrote to management refusing to condone this dangerous practice. So why did the Chief Executive, David Lawton, carry on, despite the deaths, until forced by the health regulator to stop this dangerous practice? Just 2 weeks after the death witnessed by Dr Mattu, David Lawton told doctors that the Health Secretary at the time, Alan Milburn, was making it clear that patients mustn't be turned away. Mr Lawton told doctors the hospital would pay out if there were any mistakes. Mr Lawton left Walsgrave and is now Chief Executive of another hospital in Wolverhampton. Asked about the overcrowding, he told us he'd pointed it out to his bosses. The practice was well known in the health community, he said. On 2 occasions, I personally took the regional director around the wards to show him the unacceptable practice. He says he wrote on many occasions about the problem, but we've been unable to verify this. A new management team came in. In October 2003, I asked again if the new Chief Executive, David Roberts, had had any success tracking down the red alert form about the second death. When he replied a month later, he said he couldn't find it. Then, using the new Freedom of Information Act, I uncovered this memo. Dated August 2003, it says that after the BBC had provided the date of the second red alert form, they had tracked down the second death. After asking for an explanation, I decided to confront Mr Roberts.
It's a simple question, Mr Roberts. You going to answer my question, Mr Roberts?
Although he wouldn't talk to me, hospital-appointed solicitors said there'd been an internal investigation with findings checked by an outside consultant. Nobody had died as a direct result of overcrowding. They say that the second red alert was eventually found in a completely different patient's notes after they had completed the investigation. There'll now be an independent investigation into this patient's death. In front of the camera, this is all Mr Roberts was prepared to say.
Thanks so much.
But in this saga there's one more twist. The patient told his MP, Caroline Spellman, of failings at Walsgrave and yet another resuscitation failure long after the 2 red alert forms.
And amongst that list of items were his concern that somebody had actually died as a result of the addition of 1 bed into a 4-bedded bay, yes.
We don't know whether the Department of Health did turn a blind eye to overcrowding because they won't give us any documents they have. The reason? To protect the workings of government. So I handed letters outlining my concerns to the Secretary of State in person.
And Michaeli joins us right now. So Michaeli, have you had any response from Patricia Hewitt?
Well, to be fair, I only gave her the letter last week, but I did write to her months and months ago, although the letters were said not to have been passed on. I wrote to the Chief Medical Officer, Sir Liam Donaldson, and have never had a reply. And our Freedom of Information request has taken 6 months to pass through, and I still haven't finished that yet.
And what about the overcrowding? Is that still going on?